See, I know how to do it. Are we live? And then Joanne actually helped me figure out how to work this slide thing. I'm like, why are PCs so complicated? Hello and welcome to Print Chat live from the Printerverse. Just this one time we're doing it early. Otherwise, every Wednesday it's 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Nobody get crazy on me. And next week say, I thought Print Chat was at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. No, it's always at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. But today we wanted, because the show closes at 3 o'clock, which is 4 o'clock Eastern Time, and they will take my internet away at about 3:01 and 2 seconds. We wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to tell you about some cool things that have been introduced at the show, and or some things that are very relevant to your business, just to hear from a couple of alliance partners. And we're going to start with Fastbind. Kent Dazo. Was that good? Close enough. Kent D is from Fastbind USA, and they introduced a PUR EVA tabletop perfect binder at the show this year. Literally launched it here. It came over from Finland a couple of weeks before the show. They tested it, made sure everything was perfect. They dragged it to the show, and it has caused quite a sensation here. And he did speak about it the other day, but at this point it was very much worth reintroducing it again, making sure that everybody at home, especially the commercial printers, understand the significance of being able to do the short run perfect bind jobs and pretty much enter new revenue streams. So what we're going to do here is Kent's going to tell you a little bit about the product, and then I'm sure that you guys will have a lot of questions. You should be, if everything's working perfectly, you're watching on live stream and tweeting with the hashtag PrintChat and Graph Expo if you can fit it, through Nerf or through Twitter. Sandy Hubbard is moderating away. She's on a tablet. She's on a computer. I will be also going onto a computer to moderate as well. Same usual suspects, same format. Nothing's different. I just want everybody to, be calm at home. We will find you. You will find us. Without further ado, Kent, thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me and spending time with us today, and thank you, Deborah, for having us here at the Printerverse. All right, we introduced the other day at the beginning of the show our brand new machine. It's called the PureEva XT. The highlights of this new product is the ability for us to perfect bind both soft and hard covers and select between PUR and EVA glue. For those of you that do understand PUR glue, then you will understand what I'm saying, but for the rest of you, I'll try to give you a little bit of understanding. So EVA glue is used in most perfect binders around the world today, specifically because of the characteristics of being able to use it, finish the book, cut it, and then hand it out right away. It's a very safe product, and the drying time is quite quick. Some of the changes in the marketplace that are happening rapidly are the papers and the substrates that we need to bind are becoming more difficult for the general EVA glues to hold and bind them tightly because the characteristics of the papers are changing. They're changing primarily so that you get better print quality off of your press, and of course the customers are driving a lot of the need to change the paper stocks. So the selection of the PUR glue does give you a much stronger bind, but along with that comes some issues that PUR will bring to the table. One of those is that it takes at least 24 hours for the technical difficulties. There we go. I got it. All right, how about that? Okay, so back to PUR. Some of the technical issues are that it takes 24 hours for the glue to set up enough where you can then trim the books, and then it takes a few days, sometimes up to 5 days, for the glue to cure. So there is a time built into using that glue that you don't have with the EVA glue. So what we've done is we've brought the ability for print shops to be able to select between the glues, to be able to use EVA for the good characteristics his has, and have to be able to send the books out right away, and then switch over to the PUR glue for those substrates that requires that kind of glue to hold it together. We've also included that in the machine that allows you to bind both soft and hard covers. We've done that at a price point that is significantly less than the standard of the industry. So what it comes down to is a value proposition of selection of what kind of binding technology will I go with in the future. Should I use PUR? Do I need to use PUR? And of course, will I need to do both hard and soft covers? And with FastBind and our brand new product Purita XT, that is what we've brought to the marketplace, a short to medium run soft and hard cover binder that allows me to select between the different glues to meet the needs of my customers' requirements. Do we have any questions out there? I caught Deborah talking. There's the microphone. Fabulous.
There's that microphone. Well, this is a fascinating product for our home audience. It's a fascinating product for me because I've had a lot of experience with my friends who run binderies. And the question that always seems to come up is, how on earth is this possible? How can you switch between two different kinds of glues? What's the mechanism? What's a cleanup kind of situation? I mean, people's minds are blown that this is possible, so they want technical details.
Really, really good question. So, first thing I'll say is on our YouTube channel, which is FastBind USA, we have the videos of both the binding and the cleaning of the PUR. So as I said earlier, there are some issues using PUR, and one of the major issues is that once you're done using the PUR, you do need to clean it out of the glue pot so that you can then use that same glue pot again in the future. The difference between EVA and PUR in the very simplest sense is EVA is a glue that will get hot, then you get cold, and then you get hot again and get cold again, so you can continue to use it as long as it's around. PUR is a chemical reaction, so once humidity touches the glue, it starts that chemical reaction and it does not stop. So once you've opened the bag, once you start using it, you've got to make the books, and whatever's left over you need to clean out. So the first part of the question was, how do we change the glue pots? Now that is what makes this different. So generally, at least up to today, all of the other binding manufacturers offer either an EVA or a PUR machine. Because of the short run nature, and because FastBind is generally found in the short to medium run environments, we knew we had to have both glue capabilities. So we built a cartridge system where you select the glue you want, you take the pot out, we have a trigger mechanism, you can pull it out, you put it down in what we have a small garage because it is hot, you put it away, and then you can take the other glue like the EVA and plug it back in. You push the front panel selecting between the two glues because they do use different temperatures, and once it comes up to temperature then you can continue on with that other glue. So we do have these videos watching the changing process and watching the cleaning process online, which makes a lot more sense. Now because we are using a very small amount, it's a short run, you select and put in only as much glue as you think you need, then therefore there's very little waste when you're cleaning out the glue cartridge. So when we clean it out, what we actually do is run out the PUR till it's empty. We put EVA back into the PUR cartridge and let it run out a little bit so we've cleaned it out completely, and then the next time we use PUR we put it into the cartridge and run it till it's finished. So that way we reduce the waste of the PUR glue that we're using, and we use EVA as our flushing agent.
Sounds good. Now yesterday, you gave us a great presentation on some of the products that this can apply to. We have 15 people who are logged in right now, and plus many more who can just watch it without logging in. So we have a big audience watching and commenting on Twitter. So I'd like to revisit some of the products, and I know that people just getting into, say, the photo book market are wondering, can we sell more than photo books? What are the possibilities?
That's another really good question, because as in our booth over here, we're showing different technologies for different types of book products. But generally, our customers are print shops, and the print shops are looking, how can I maximize the different kind of products that I make on one machine? So we see two types. We'll walk into a print shop and they already have a very big binder. It may be PUR, it might be EVA, but it's automated, it's pretty expensive and very fast. And what they want to focus in on is photo books. And in photo books, the paper is generally very, very thick. It's always coated, and it's very difficult to perfect bind with generic EVA glue. So sometimes we'll recommend that they go to a linear side staple stitch so that they can guarantee the paper won't come out of the book. Next time we'll go into a print shop and they haven't invested in a binding technology yet, and they'd like to be able to have one machine that can handle soft covers, hard covers, photo books, big thick school yearbooks, everything in between. So what they'll do is they'll select either an EVA or like our new PUR and EVA binder, and they'll test the papers before they commit to print. So if you staple through the side, you can pretty much use any paper because it's not going to come apart. But depending on EVA or PUR, you'll need to test that really heavy stock to make sure that it isn't going to come apart, and then you can have a much more versatile binder that can handle pretty much anything that walks in the door.
Okay, to that end, and again, this is something that you covered the other day very well, but we'll kind of reiterate it. Clearly, if people are just getting into this market and they're figuring out that obviously you have a lot of support technology-wise online, do you also have kind of consulting with the client on how to enter new markets, how to be efficient with their machinery, and how much do you work with the customer in that kind of innovation stage?
Sure. Well, we have a dealer network across the U.S. and all the way through Latin America and Canada. We really take the lead role, that is Fastbind USA takes the lead role in the education for the clients. So we offer lifetime support, training, retraining via our Skype cameras into our demo center so we can actually show them how to do it and watch when they're doing it. But we spend an enormous amount of time talking with them about how they can enter into these new markets, what kind of products they can make, what other people are doing then they're successful with, because that's really the bottom line, is that once they realize that they can make these products, what they really need to do is go find out how they can leverage these products and open new markets for themselves. One of the things that we find that's most confusing out there is, who should I go out and sell to? If you simply look at the market, you can easily say, well, there's 300 million consumers with phones in their pockets, so the market for a photo book is quite large. However, the marketing to that group is very, very expensive. You have to have a heavy-duty website. You have to have a lot of marketing capability to go and find my mother and then convince her to buy your book product. Most of the printers are really successful when they leverage their relationships with their existing customer base and use photo books as either a brand image process or some kind of leverage with their customers' base of relationship customers. In other words, if you look like a university, they have thousands and thousands of people that want to get emails from the university. They like the colors. They have an interest to do business with them. If a printer can then leverage that relationship through the university and do all the background printing of the photo books, they now don't have to spend millions of dollars to reach 30 or 40,000 people. So if you can look at the business-to-business opportunities for our print shops, they have a much faster ramp-up time to higher volumes of book products than they do if they think about how do I go out and reach a consumer on a one-to-one basis.
That's a great answer. Those are great examples. I want to buy one myself. So we've got the people who are in the marketing side, and that's a perfect answer for them. Now we've got the guys who want to know, what's the machine footprint? How easily can they cross-train an operator to run it?
Sure. That's one of the things. Now, again, Fastbind is known for the ability to produce the custom printed hardcover. We have the machines to make the cover, and then we have the machines to bind the individual kind of book, because there are different books. You have the photo books, you have the general softer hardcovers, and you have all the way up to a high-end mounted album. So we make different kinds of machines for that. But generally we're talking about a short to medium run. So it's a tabletop machine. Okay, it doesn't come with a stand. You put it on a table. Generally, you're talking about 36 inches by 24 inches in depth and width, and then up to about 36 inches high. Okay, one person can carry it, if you will, up to our latest machine that takes 2 people to carry it, but it's not something that's too enormous or you have to have a lot of regulated power for. And it is a manual operation. In other words, you're putting the paper in and you're taking the book out after you finish binding it. The training is very, very simple, and that's one of the things. That's why we offer the online training, because what you'll find is you have a lot of skill sets in your print shop, and they're pushed around from folding machines to printers to different types of technologies, and pretty much the same thing. Once they get used to the machine, once they understand how it works, it's very straightforward for them to have everyone in the shop be able to go over and make a book and finish it up. One of the things you'll see, especially at the trade show like this, is you'll have crowds around the case maker and people standing there, and they can't believe how simple it is. And then once they realize that it is really a basic operation, it takes away the mystery. And then they realize, well, my guys can do that. Now how can I leverage that and make some book products? And then of course we offer the free retraining via Skype, so that they can set it up with us. They can have their new employee sit down for 10 minutes, go actually through, and we'll watch them do it. I'll say, okay, no, do this, don't do that. And then the biggest thing we get is they'll get a client come in and say, I want this, but I really like it this way. And so they'll call us and say, can we do that with your machine? And we'll explain it, we'll show them the video, and train their employees on how to do that.
Great answers. I think that's kind of covers it, but wonderful job. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for listening, and we appreciate it. Fastmind.com. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, everyone.
Fantastico. Thanks so much for everything. And Douglas, too. Okay. Let's spin the logo and see where it lands. It's no secret that some of my favorite people here at the show work for a little company with 3 initials, GPA. They're just fun. They have amazing things. They're paper people. Who doesn't love the paper people? They're substrate people. They have cool substrates. They have generously donated substrates in the Printerverse for our postcards, for our paper airplane contest, which was amazing. And came up with amazing giveaways too. There were pilot hats and aviator glasses, custom t-shirts that they were actually making, that you can make in your business and they were making in their booth. My business cards, my bookmarks, everything is on these amazing new digital substrates that you have. And we're very honored that Kim Cotel, the strategic account manager at GPA, is going to come here, and she's going to tell you about some of them and show you about some of them, and then let you know how you can get your hands on them. Thanks, Kim.
Hello, everybody. We're really excited to be here on the last stretch of Graph Expo 2014. And I do want to say thank you very much to Deborah and the team at Print Media Center for allowing the global print lovers and innovative community to get access to all this information. So I am going to talk a little bit about some of the awesome products we are showcasing for digital printing. The first one that I will start with is a pre-converted form. This form allows you to seamlessly print variable data as your customers put their information in for new users or those who might request some type of promotional information. Now, not only is this a form, but this also turns into a card. So you can peel this card right off the form. Voila. This adds a lot of value. Marketers see that customers tend to throw out coupons that are just made of paper. However, if there's something with a little more rigidity to it, it seems to be a little more valuable to them. So they're more likely to keep it, and they're more likely to have that in hand and use it. This is great for versioning and, again, variable information. Another pre-converted substrate would be our 4x4x4 box. This is amazing. It comes on a 12x18. It's pre-converted, so there's no die cutting required. And once you're done taking it out and folding it, it becomes this 4x4 box. This is amazing for beta programs or for pilot programs. In addition, it's really, really helpful for events. You can put little gifts in here for your customers. You can put their name on here. You can really maximize the digital capabilities by variable imaging each and every box and personalizing it for your customers or whoever might be attending the event. I think we've all been there where we're trying to find a magnet. Where can I get this magnet? I only need 50. I only need 100. How do I get a magnet? Well, guess what? GPA has your answer. This is not only good for designers, but it's also good for printers. And that's because this runs non-magnetized through your press, and once you're finished with that, you magnetize it. Therefore, it's not going to stick on the rollers. It's not going to cause issues within your press. And guess what else? It's thick enough so that you can actually stick something to your refrigerator or file cabinet or whatever this might be utilized for. This amazing new product is our silver paper. It is a great alternative for those who are looking for short run or variable foil stamping. It also allows you to have a metallic effect in some of your pieces. It's very good for high-end fashion, and with the holidays coming around the corner, it's a really, really popular item. What better way to give a shiny, happy holiday to your customers? I think this is one of Deb's favorites because I believe her bookmarks are done on it. So with that being said, this is our new pearlized photo paper. So this gives more of a smooth sheen to it compared to our very popular pearlescent sheet that many people like to use. In addition, I'm not sure if most people know about this product, but if it gets wet, it's not very susceptible to moisture. So it can actually get wet or be exposed to some of the elements and not have a warping effect to it. In addition, you can kind of see, but there'll be a way for you to get some of these samples if you want to see it in person, the way you can see the sheen for the sunglasses here. And here's another really, really amazing piece that really helps the metallic effect of the material. A lot of people underestimate the value of substrates and how they can really increase the perceived value of your brand or the printed piece. So this is used for high-end mailings, again, fashion. I see a lot of automotive industries really sending this out to some of their high-end customers. Last but certainly not least, and one of the most fun products that we have is our t-shirt transfers. We're here in the booth making t-shirts for those who stop by. And this is great because you can use it for events. I've seen it used for races. I've seen it used as thank yous. So I actually have one of these shirts on. We just made it 5 minutes before I got here. That's how quick and easy it is. You run this on your press, and then you can just use a flat iron to get it on any t-shirt you want. Those are most of the products that I have to talk about today for digital. Thank you very much for your time. Is there any questions?
Yes, we definitely have questions.
Oh, great.
I'll start off with, because we are also at a print chat here, I would like to know what market segments, what other markets do you recommend these printers can take these products to pitch new business, open up new revenue streams?
I would say that we really see for party planning is one of the areas, shows, nonprofit, also startup companies or companies that have divisions where they're now focusing more on one-to-one marketing or really getting to know their customers. I think a lot of the big brands today are starting to recognize how important it is to know their audiences. So they do have divisions that are doing the research and wanting to know, what can we do to maximize customer retention and also getting those audiences that want to be, seen as special, if you will, or really spoken to rather than just a broad ad.
So is there data available regarding specialty substrates and response rates and/or retention or anything like that would be an incentive as to why you would even want to seek these things out?
Of course, we work very closely with our customers and with some of their customers to drill down more specifically into what industry they're working in and some of the information that they're trying to obtain or what markets they're working in so that we can help them get that information.
Okay, and last, before I turn it over to Sandy, a very important question. How are printers supposed to know which substrates will work with their machines and which should not work with their machines? And do they work with all machines?
Well, we just rolled out an amazing new catalog thanks to our marketing team that actually has a reference guide in it that will indicate what print technology they're able to work with. In addition, we have an excellent sample department, so they're always able to either use that reference guide or request samples to see what their artwork actually would look like on this material and maximize the design.
That's amazing. So you'll actually print a sample for them on the substrate?
Their print provider would need to do that.
Okay.
We can provide some printed samples, though.
Okay. Oh, great. Awesome. And just before I hand it over to Sandy, I'm sorry, how can people get samples from you?
They can email us at info@askgpa.com and if they mention the Print Media Center, we'll throw a little extra in there for them.
All right. Well, people are loving this segment. They're watching it live at home and commenting on Twitter using the print chat hashtag. So they're interacting on a number of different channels. One of the comments that we got was, love that peel-off card from GPA, personalized for the recipient. So a number of people love that particular product. And then another comment was a question. I would like info on that 4x4x4 pre-converted box. So where should people go to get more information?
Again, they can email us at info@askgpa.com and we'll be happy to send them all that information.
Okay, and then a question for me, because there's always one, right? How do you come up with new ideas for substrates?
It's really geared from our printers and the consumers that they're working with. We try to look at industry trends, and also in many cases we actually develop substrates with our customers for solutions they're trying to solve for their customers.
Okay, and I have one more, and then we'll move on to our next presentation. Where do you think the substrate industry is going?
I think that the more that people recognize the returns they're able to get, especially in digital printing, that they are going to gear more towards capitalizing on the substrate that they're using in addition to the design that they're putting on the piece.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, I do have one other crazy question. What's the difference between a paper stock and a substrate? Like, why do you have different names for that? Oh, okay. We have more questions. Sorry, you're too interesting.
No problem. I love it. So, paper is, something that's made from some type of fiber. It actually could be a tree, it could be bamboo, it could be cotton. Those are considered papers. However, GPA also deals with synthetic materials, or, in the case of built-in ID cards, that has a plastic as well as paper in it. So we prefer to call it substrates because we don't really want to just peg ourselves in the corner of just paper or just a synthetic material. Anything that you can print on would be a substrate.
You might have covered this while I was tweeting and et cetera, but I would guess that part of the factors in driving new substrates would also be the possibilities of the press, and I know that a lot of the digital presses are advancing so quickly in the thicknesses of the material and the characteristics and so forth. So do you partner with the digital press manufacturers in them telling you, hey, by the way, we can now take corrugated or whatever?
Of course. We have many relationships with many partners in the industry, HP being one of them, and other manufacturers of binding equipment, finishing equipment, so that we can better understand what their equipment can do, and we can develop our substrates and our product offering to really capitalize on what the printers are working with also. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Forgot to mention when.
Thank you. Thank you so much, GPA, for your continued support. Hopefully you'll be back next year. Trina, hopefully you'll be back. Okay, of course, she said, yay! This is going to be exciting because not only is Avanti a new partner with us, but they won a 2014 Must See 'em for their Avanti Slingshot MIS technology. And Stephen McWilliam, the Executive Vice President of Avanti Systems, is going to tell us a little bit about that, and we'll take your questions from home, and we'll take it from there. Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Deborah. Yeah, we're really excited to be here in Chicago for Graph Expo 2014. Those that are familiar with us know that we were here for Print 13 last year, and is where we actually had our worldwide announcement of Avanti Slingshot. So Avanti's been around since 1984. We've been around for 30 plus years, but 4 years ago, we started the development of a brand new product. We did it completely with a separate development team. We continued to market our existing product, working on the 4 years of Avanti Slingshot, announced it last year, won a Must See 'em for that award. And there were some key design principles that were built into Avanti Slingshot. And in the first place, it was a browser-based application, so offering anytime, anywhere access on any device, access to the environment. I should start by saying we have a Print MIS software, and that's really about how do I manage the business side of the print shop. So everything from how orders are coming into the shop via web to print, coming into the commercial environment. So we're doing our estimating, our production planning, our job costing, our job tracking, and our billing. Our legacy system, client server, been around for back in the litho days, but now that we're into more different lines of business inside the commercial shops, we did right from the ground up our Avanti Slingshot. So browser-based, so anytime, anywhere access from any device. Second key principle really was to move beyond just print. So print shops out there are looking for new lines of business to get into to grow their business, and we've built that right from the ground up inside of Avanti Slingshot to be able to handle things like not just print, but litho, digital, large format, those that are getting into mailing and fulfillment, perfect platform for them. The third key design principle inside of Avanti Slingshot has to do with the amount of effort that's required to put in a system like a Print MIS. It can take 3 to 6 months to get a traditional MIS system in there, because it really does touch every single department in there. So what we did as part of the development of Avanti Slingshot was really invest a lot of time in the resources, the import utilities, and what we refer to as our quick start database. So where we've already built out the majority of the pieces of equipment that our customers would have inside their shop. So all the digital presses are already built out, litho presses, fold, bindery, as well as all the tasks and activities that would go into something like that. So we really tried to make it very easy for our customers. I've got 400 customers on our legacy product. We're moving them across to Avanti Slingshot, and of course we're out there selling Avanti Slingshot into new accounts, and of course most of them already have an existing MIS system that they need to migrate across. So it's very helpful for them, for us to have an import utility as an example. We can bring their customer master file across without anybody needing to have fat fingers retyping everything in. Since their equipment's already built out, they don't have to build from scratch. So what are my budgetly hourly rates, and what are my run speeds, and what are my the things that I have to fill in. Really what they have to do when it comes to implementing Avanti Slingshot is basically have a great understanding of their pricing and their costs, which they have already, and then just tailor the system to be able to do that. The next key design principle revolved around how do we deploy something like this. Everybody's talking about the cloud, but there are several shops that aren't allowed to implement in the cloud. So we offer both the ability to implement Slingshot on-premise, so it runs on one of your servers within your firewall, down in adhering to your security principles, or you can run it in the cloud. That's really important to a small commercial shop that wouldn't necessarily have all the IT resources on staff to be able to manage something like that. Just throw it up in the cloud and have it managed there. But if you are a bank, a public institution, something that is worried about security, great place for you to just run it on premise inside your shop. And then finally, the reason that we're really excited to be here today, the last one is really about automation and integration. So we've won a Must-See Award here, 2014. We won it for our advanced JDF framework. What that means for our viewers out there today is it makes it much easier for you to implement a project that involves integration and automation of the different pieces of equipment that you've got out there and the different applications that you've got out there. It's much, gone are the days where JDF or integrating into pieces of equipment is just the realm for the very large printers. But we work with all the vendors out there to make sure that those that are adhering to the JDF standard or other standards like XML make it very easy for us to integrate into Avanti. So we can get to that state that we all want of basically get as close to a zero-touch workflow as you want to. Your customers are submitting jobs 7x24 across the web. You really don't want anybody in the shop needing to re-enter that information. So really tight integration points and APIs to be able to integrate into those. Then once we've got that job inside of Avanti Slingshot, we know everything about that job, right? The customer's done all the heavy lifting on the web to print side, so we know who they are, we know what they want us to produce, they've sent the file to us that needs to get printed, we know the location of where they would like that sent. Well, we need to be able to send that all downstream. We had a speaker just earlier talk about substrates. We need to know what's the substrate that's going to run on, what's the quantity, where's the location of the file. Again, in the olden days, someone would have to re-enter all that information as we passed it down to the prepress layer. Well, we've already got all the integration points into all those prepress layers that all the key vendors that are out here in Chicago have already got in place. So whether it's SmartStream from HP, TotalFlow from Ricoh, FreeFlow from Xerox, PrintFlow from Konica Minolta, we've already built all those integration points into there. So we can pass all the job parameters down to them that they can do what they need to with that job. And then the really cool part, again, thanks to JDF, and in our case the JDF framework that we have, we get all the information back up after the job's complete. So, back in the old days of a litho job that would run for a couple of hours or even a couple of days, it was okay to have someone wandering around with a clipboard writing down, okay, how much paper did we use on that? How long did it actually run? Well, welcome to the digital world, where the good old days of, okay, I've got 10 jobs that are going through the shop in the next 10 days. Now I've got 10 jobs that are going through the shop in the next hour. I can't afford to have anybody running around trying to figure out where a job is. Since we're integrated right into the things like an iGen or an Indigo or bindery equipment that are out there, they can let us know, done and gone off of the C901 and moved on down into bindery. It updates the schedule, so anybody that's looking at the master schedule inside of Avanti Slingshot can see the job status, done and gone, down to shipping. They can get actually how long did it take to run. The favorite report in Avanti Slingshot for everyone is estimate versus actual. We estimated it was going to take this long to run. How much did it actually take to run? We estimated we were going to use this much paper. How much did we actually use? So that feed that's coming back up off of the floor 4 tells us all those things. Done and gone, so the job status gets updated. How long did it actually run? So that's calculating my job cost for me. And how much paper did I use? Update the inventory that's running inside of Avanti 2, and then fire triggers. If we go below that bare minimum that we need of 8.5 by 11 or down below our minimum rolls, have it actually automatically send a trigger that says, hey, we need to get another paper order there and get another skid in or another couple of rolls to be able to handle that. So the real benefit of that advanced JDF integration is it makes it much easier for people to implement projects. We move away from really complex ones of you've got to actually have your own project team to get this going to one of a couple of quick conversations. Many of these JDF integrations are literally pull them off the shelf and integrate them right in your environment and then just build it right into the project that you've got for your Print MIS. So that's what we're really excited about. Those that are interested in actually seeing a demo of how we do these things, every Thursday at 2 o'clock, come to my website, avantisystems.com. Come there at 2 o'clock on a Thursday. You'll get a little overview of Avanti Slingshot. And then actually, if you come to my website, you'll actually see a schedule of webinars that we do. So we do some generic ones. Some we hone right in on that topic of automation and integration. So you can get a sense for how do we do a project like this.
So just because we do have a global audience, is it 2 p.m. Eastern time? Is that correct?
It is 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
Yeah, so good point that your audience is international.
Yes.
Because there's one other design principle that I forgot to mention about Avanti Slingshot, and that is that it's built for multi. It's built for multi-currency. It's built for multilingual. So here we are in America. Really need a system that's available in English with a bit of shop floor data collection in Spanish. But for all of our viewers throughout the world, know that it's got all the hooks built in there for all the key languages.
Okay, and then I have a question, and then I'm going to turn it over to the home audience and Sandy. How customizable is your platform, and how does somebody go about working with, I guess, one of your people to customize it?
Yeah, so I've got my road warriors at Avanti. So we do all of our implementations and our projects. We do them literally on site. So I've got 5 folks that are traveling around all the time, and they come out to the client site. And depending on what modules you need, Avanti Slingshot's a modular system. Depending on what modules they need, that dictates how long the project's going to take. So based on the modules they have, it may be 17 days to implement the project. Well, we don't actually come down for 17 days. What we do is we come down for weeks of 4 days. So we come down Monday to Thursday. We do whatever part of the project that has to be done in that. And then we actually go away and leave them lots of homework to do. So about 40 hours of homework between each one of those trips that has to get done before someone from my team comes back down. So that 40 hours of homework, depending on how they're staffing the project, could take them 1 week if it's 40 hours and they're dedicated to the project, or it may be something that they're doing on top of their daily activities. So they may do that 40 hours of homework over 4 weeks, 10 hours a week to get that homework done, and then we're coming down we're coming down after that, and then we just chunk through in a very phased approach for that project, and we'll get her done somewhere between, as I said earlier, between 3 and 6 months is an average project for us. Any questions?
Well, Stephen, I was just going to ask you that. So
What were you gonna ask me?
I was going to ask how long it takes to get a project like this off and running. So 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, and again, that depends on whether it's an integration that they're after in terms of a piece of equipment or a piece of application software, whether that integration already exists. We've got them for all the big, as I mentioned, for all the big workflow tools and the big pieces of iron, but they may have something that's homegrown that we would have to work on together with them, or they may have a piece of software for someone else. Again, the key is open standards. The reality out there is that there isn't just one vendor in a shop. They could have multiple vendors for their equipment. They can have multiple vendors for their, they buy a piece of software to solve a particular problem, maybe imposition. So they've got preps, or they've got metrics, or they've got ultimate technographics software. Some of those are off the shelf, other ones we'd have to develop. And the way with the JDF framework works is that regardless of the integration, it's $5,000. So if it's on the shelf, it makes it easier for us to produce. Otherwise, it's a project for us because our goal is to get more and more things on the shelf, right? So that's why it's not a statement of work that goes with that, and $100,000 of work for something like that to get done. We're making it very easy, easy for that small commercial shop to get going.
Okay, sounds good. I wanted to read one of the comments from the audience, which is, hello. Having had to type out job tickets on NCR to have a fully automated system is wait for it, some. So people are liking that.
Hey, when you've got hundreds of jobs coming through the shop every single day, you got to eliminate re-entering information that you've captured somewhere else. Right, that's the key. Have things go right through, and eventually get to that point where everything is electronic, even the job ticket. So the people out on the floor are looking at the most recent job ticket. If there's a last-minute change or a change order, something's happening, you get 200 to 400 jobs going through the shop. That can be a real challenge, and probably the greatest, when we talk to our customers, what do they say is really bogging them down is the fact that they've got twice as many jobs going through the shop now as they did 2 years ago, but they're all shorter jobs, so you can't touch them. You got to eliminate the touches.
Yeah, it's not only a time savings, but probably in terms of accuracy. Every time you re-keyboard something, you're introducing a place where mistakes can happen. One of the questions was, what are we looking at for operator training? And I would assume, since people throughout the print shop are interacting with this, there's probably more training for some operators and less for others.
Yeah, a print MIS system like Avanti Slingshot touches every department. It touches accounting, it touches client services, it touches sales, it touches the operators. And so when it comes to that actual project, someone at the shop has to own the system. So they come to all the training from start to finish. And that's typically someone that's really intimate with the workflow inside the shop and is often the go-to person that everybody goes to understand, how does a job make its way through the shop. Other people just touch particular parts of it. So the accounting folks, they need to come to the invoicing training. The operators, they really just need to come to the shop floor data collection training. And what we encourage people to do, barcode everything. So everybody's badge has got a barcode on it, the job ticket's got a barcode on it, and the activities that they're doing have a barcode. So really, in terms of shop floor data collections, it's me, Deborah, I'm working on the puller cutter, and here's the job number, and that's it. So to answer your question, they come to the training, it's applicable to them. And we also recommend that there be a backup. So if some people want to go on a holiday every once in a while, you should have a backup in terms of a systems administrator. And administering a system like Avanti Slingshot really takes about 10% of someone's time just to do admin, password changes, or a new paper stock comes in. One of the reasons that we do our projects on site is our goal really is to hand them the keys when we're done on the project, so they don't have to call me to say, hey, we got a new piece of equipment in here, how do we build that into our platform? We have a new substrate, we're changing our pricing. They don't need to call me. They're good enough at using the system that they don't need my guys are expensive. You don't want them to have to pay a daily rate just because they want to change something.
And here's a question that's not from our audience at home, but I actually was on the phone about a month ago with a company who was researching print MIS systems because they had a current, very old system that was proprietary, didn't integrate with the equipment, took a lot of there's a lot of redundancy, obviously didn't cover all the modules that you mentioned.
Yes.
What would a printer look at to justify switching even from a relatively competitive system, but really from an older system, to justify changing to your program?
Yeah, because you know what, it is a big project to swap one of those out. Some my customers jokingly say that the print MIS is like the heart of the operation. And so if you want to take the heart out, it's like a heart transplant, right? No one wants to go through the heart transplant. So really it is about ROI. What's the pain of getting in the way of you growing the business? It's usually customer driven. The customer's coming to you and asking you to do something that you can't do. They say, I want a web portal. Oh, we don't have the ability to do that. We want you to develop a new application, a printing application for us. So they find holes in their current operation that say, wow, we just can't deliver that right now. I had one customer who came, who is a customer of ours now, wasn't at the time, where they were a commercial shop, and they had a very large insurance company come to them and said, you know what, I want to be able to give my insurance agents out there the ability to produce their own collateral. Customize it with their name and on there, so that it had a better chance of actually hanging around in the place that it was going to. But when they looked at the number of touch points to do, a piece of collateral for Deborah Korn, there was 14 touch points on that. Well, you can't have 14 touch points on a job and expect to make any money. So they had to strip all that out. They had to say no to their client, or they had to come up with a way with getting a touchless workflow. And that's what we were able to. That's what we were able to do for them. So it is about ROI.
Hi, I'm Brian. I just have a quick question for you. I don't mean to go too far back, but you had mentioned metrics.
Yeah.
You had mentioned metrics, and I have a online chat friend named Matt Beals who works for Metrics, and I read that they were acquired by EFI.
Yeah.
For the digital front end. So my question is, does that make any difference? How does it interface? Does Avanti Slingshot a partnership or an association with EFI, or?
So it's really about the standards that things adhere to. So JDF being that standard for the printing industry. If those different applications, metrics and preps and literally other things that we do integrate to with Fiery as an example, or into OPS, which is their web storefront, it is about those standards so that we can send and receive information to one another to make it a lot easier. The client doesn't want to get in the middle of that. Is it my job or their job to hand information? The standards are what do it, and we work with everybody. That's one of our key value adds, is really we recognize there are multiple vendors in every one of those shops, so we've really built Avanti Slingshot to be as open as possible.
Okay, we've got more questions coming in off live stream.
Sure.
Sorry, I got to take my glasses off here. Would the printer's clients have live job status access?
That's really up to the printer. Most people will not let their clients into their production world. They like to keep that client visibility away from the actual production. But you have the part of that integration into things like a web to print storefront says, be able to give me status, right? In a self-service way, let me go and look up the status of a job, my inventory levels. I want to look up an old invoice. So, yep, the communication has to go back and forth. And really, phase one of web to print was give me an easy way to submit a job into the shop and maybe attach a file. Phase two of web to print, where everybody's going now, is bi-directional. So not only make it easy for me to submit a job 7x24, but make sure that I can go and get the information that I need to. And you're going to see more and more of that going forward, of companies working together, like Avanti working with like an XMPie or an RSA Web CRD or a PTI, so that we do send information back and forth.
Great, good to know. Okay, another question. Would there be automated email status, or do they log into view status? Well,
about two things there. Absolutely. We call it business alerts and triggers. So if something happens inside the shop and you want to notify someone, have an email automatically generated to go to someone. So it may be an operations manager that says, if a job is late, I want you to let me know. If it's a very big client and they submit an order, I want an email to go to the sales guy to let them know our best client is just ordering. So we refer to those as business alerts and triggers. Now, they can get a little overwhelming. If you've got hundreds of jobs going through the shop, you don't want to be triggered with everything. So there's also the ability to go on demand and just say, okay, in a real-time way, tell me what I want to know. So we refer to it as visibility. Give me the analytics that I can go and have a look at what's going on in the shop right now, but also the ability to go and find out what happened yesterday.
Thank you so much, Stephen. I really appreciate you spending our time with here and with our people at home. And also, we've got to say happy 30th anniversary.
That's right.
To Avanti.
Yeah, great.
Obviously, you're doing something right. So we hope you're around for another 30 years. We hope to have another 30 years of partnership with the Printerverse. And thanks to everybody on live stream who's been following us for the last 4 days. Especially a huge thanks to Sandy Hubbard, who's been running NASA from a little round table and a little plastic chair since we've been here, to Brian Rothschild, who has been amazingly, he's on MacFix, he's MacFixer. He has been tweeting and helping running our displays, and right now he's running the camera. Nick Ames, who is now running around the trade show floor. visiting our sponsors and our partners, and taking little videos with them. Eddie from Shutterbox Productions, is that photo booths? Entertainment, who's not just operating our photo booth, but also working with booth attendees and helping them to mail the photos, post the photos on the graffiti wall, take pictures with our giant aliens. Obviously, huge thanks to Mary Beth Smith, who has actually left, but without her, there'd be no Girls Who Print Day, no Girls Who Print in the Printerverse. And last but not least, Lady Scanalot, aka Mommy and my mother, who I import every year to help me in the booth, because who else can you really trust but your mother?
Who else? Who else?
When you really have to get things done. And as she pointed out yesterday, without her, I wouldn't be here, so thanks, Mom. And huge thanks to Graph Expo, to the GASC team, to Chris Price, Mr. Ralph Nappi, Debbie Vader, oh my God, Kilga. I couldn't say her name for a second. I'm sorry, Kelly. And everybody there, Jody, everybody who really brings this show to life every year, works tirelessly throughout the whole year to make this show an amazing success for everybody and keep it alive and going. And again, without exhibitors and partners and everybody coming together, it wouldn't happen. So yay to the Printerverse. Thanks, everybody. See you next year.